folks, and welcome to The Real Poop. If you've been watching this series, then you know that last weekend was my 16th wedding anniversary. And for that, my husband and I were going to spend a couple of nights downtown, which is something that's really challenging for me, especially coming off of a work weekend. So I thought that today I would give you guys an update on the joyous, terrifying, sad, and funny events of that stay. Normally work weekends take a lot out of me, but I was feeling optimistic, even excited as I stepped into the giant lobby. After texting back and forth, hubby declared that he'd come down to meet me to retrieve me. I stood in awe of the immense foyer, and anticipation for the next couple of days filled me with the joy I felt as a kid spending so many nights in hotels. My dad actually traveled a lot for meetings. It seemed to be taking an unreasonable amount of time for hubby to descend from the room. Oh no.
Maybe the elevators are just occupied by all the arriving folks. Maybe he fussed around before leaving? Don't let old patterns fire in your head, Allison.
I tried to be patient, and finally hubby emerged from a back corner. We weren't in the main tower, but okay. So we headed over to the elevators and waited with a group of conference attendees. There was a Sephora conference. Woot woot! I tried to get one to actually spill some news, but no dice. After one shipment of beauties went up, we caught the second elevator and stood there and stood there. The extreme slowness for the doors to close was awkward, and I was worried that the ride would be the same. When
The doors are now closing. Stand clear of the doors. The doors are now closing. Stand clear of the doors.
we experienced this zen crushing noise after each stop, which was uncommonly long. Hubby pointed out, though, that at least the doors weren't closed, which of course he was right, because that would have been worse. We arrived at a dingy, very brown level and departed from our jarring elevator experience. We walked down the hallway and arrived at our room, which smelt faintly of smoke from years gone by. It was the tiniest room I've ever seen. I don't know what gripped me with fear more, the washroom, which was almost next to the bed, or the idea of having to travel down that elevator again. Definitely the elevator. After a time of being immobilized by fear, sometimes I think lobotomized by fear, I finally pushed myself to do one thing off of our list of things to do. We headed down to the big theater down the street, braving the chill air and walking over. The theater wasn't what I expected. The common areas were small, leaving room for giant screening rooms. Which, I mean, makes practical sense. After purchasing our tickets, we turned around to look at the most terrifying escalator ever. I mean, this was no kiddie ride. I've seen roller coasters this high. We get to the top, and I identify stairs leading to some washrooms. Okay. The movie was actually pretty good. Very visually stimulating, and I was super excited that hubby played the in-theater game and won me a lipstick, which I actually got from a strange little dispenser in the main hall. I gotta say, I kind of like it. I braced myself for the trip back. When we got back, hotel management had actually left a card and some wine, which was really nice. And we just ordered some room service and called it a night. We woke up the next day and had breakfast in bed, and tried to relax when we heard an alarm. Hubby went to the door and peeked out, and he saw a bunch of staff going about their daily routine. Guess it can't be a fire. And then a voice sounded in our room.
We are currently testing our system. There is no fire. Testing.
This trailed off into mutterings, but seriously, why wouldn't you do this first, before the alarm, or warn us in some way that this was going to happen? Having stared at evacuation posters on every wall of this place, and now having been assaulted on a couple of occasions by alarms, my system was on overdrive. All I could do is sit in our room and watch TV, which itself was spotty. I had plans, damn it! The museum exhibit that we planned on going to proved too far for me to venture, considering I was afraid of going down to the lobby. I finally worked up the courage to go check out the indoor-outdoor pool that I so wanted to try. We took one elevator down, which no longer lingered or buzzed. Yes! And then we crossed the hall, or the lobby I guess, to the second set of elevators and worked our way up and found the pool room. Apparently the heating system wasn't working properly, and it made for a surreal cross into the room. We walked down a hallway with chill air and a thick fog that you couldn't see but 2 feet in front of you. We explored the dense fog to look for the locker rooms and didn't find any, but we went backwards and found some in the hallway that we had come through to get here. I so wanted to try swimming in the fresh, snowy air embraced by heated water that I pushed myself to do it, and it was amazing! I first found the pool, and then I found it warm as I slid in and moved and worked my way over to the plastic curtain dividing the inside and outside. And wow! Have you ever experienced swimming around in warm water as the sun beats down on you and snow sparkles as it drifts across the air? It was magical. Something I've been wanting since we moved to Ontario just happened. I actually got to swim outside, feeling the sun and air on my skin, and it happened in winter. How cool, literally, and awesome is that? Unfortunately, I started not to feel well, probably because of the combination of movement and no longer being physically seized by anxiety. Even though the experience was shorter than I would have liked, no actual accidents happened. And I still did something I think was amazing, and I'll remember it fondly. We ended up in the room again where I was immobilized for a while. And then I pushed myself to venture out to the shopping level. We walked around for a while and made a couple of purchases, all until my body decided there was an emergency. To the washroom, then to the room, where I sat until my poor husband near starved, which actually teared me up because I really hate how my fear impacts him. I finally worked up the courage, kind of, to go downstairs to eat. Once we finally made a decision and sat down, I felt a bit better. And chicken soup plus latkes, I don't know how you say it, but they certainly fed my soul. I'm not sure if relief, exhaustion, or despair caused me to fight back tears, but that meal was certainly emotionally charged. Well, actually the room was charged. We watched the last bit of Food Network that night and the next morning, and Getting home actually took surprisingly little effort. I was so excited to cuddle with the kitties and just relax. It wasn't the trip that I planned, but as hubby tries to remind me, it was a triumph. The swim was a highlight for sure, but the most amazing is my husband, for which I am grateful. There may not have been fire in the hotel, but there was definitely fire in my belly, and not the good kind. But there's definitely still fire in my heart after 16 years, which is a wonderful thing. So I ask you, what amazing thing, big or small, you've pushed yourself to do, and what you're grateful for. Leave it in the comments below. Remember to like to show your support, and share because I double dare ya, and subscribe to join the ranks of brave warriors. New videos come out every Saturday, and I hope to see you then. Thanks so much for watching.